A very good morning to you. Thank you for keeping it daybreak this Tuesday. A very beautiful week it is promising to be. I'm happy and excited to begin this week with you. And we are glad that you could join us for yet another Tuesday as we kickstart a conversation. We usually get social here and talk about matters relationship, matters love, matters friendship, just to build you up and to help you be better in terms of your networking and the relationships that you have around you, your social circle. We got it checked. So today, we are already in the office, and I deliberately use that word because that is what we want to talk about. It was actually birthed from a conversation I had a few days ago, but before I give you that story, let me introduce... Actually, I shouldn't even introduce them. You know them by now. Maybe allow them to say hi, say hello. Let me begin with the lady,
Good
Roberta.
Morning. I hope everyone is happy. I'm Roberta Bobby. I feel good. I'm a writer. I write about relationships and intimacy. That's what I talk about. That's why I'm here. So, yeah.
All right, karibu sana. And you have CJ with us. CJ, good morning.
Hi, good morning. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm excited.
All right. Yeah, it's Roberta loves saying she's happy. So
no, today she has kind of like cascaded that down to me.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so, and we have another guest in studio, by the way, Lakini. Anatuchokoza tu from afar. So today we want to talk about office friendships. And actually, these are the kind of friendships that sometimes may create some sort of environment whereby we want to talk about those issues that come, especially when you're in a workplace. And how do you relate with your colleagues? There was a conversation I had a few days ago, and this is the part where I give you that story. So there is this friend of mine who feels amekuwa colleague zoned, if you understand what I mean. Yeah?
Just... tell us more.
Yeah, so
I feel like colleague zone is the default. Like we're colleagues. Yes,
yeah,
that's exactly what we should be.
So this gentleman, he is in the office and works with a very beautiful lady that they've been friends for quite some time. They've known each other. They've done a few things together, and he's getting to a point where he's feeling like I may actually be spending my days and weeks with my wife and my friend and my future partner. But because of the policy at work and because of the complexities that he has had about dating and, marrying your co-worker, he's a bit skeptical about making that move. So actually, it kind of inspired this conversation to talk about office friendship, office romance, and the complexities that come with it. So the question we're asking this morning, would you date or marry somebody you work with? And that is where we start, Roberta.
I've done it before, so...
You have?
Yeah, I have dated someone from the workplace that I was. And I think it works. I mean, it can work, but my mom always says, usidate mtu mwenye mko office same, ama mnaishi the same estate, ama place yenye lazima ukwe uko every day out of obligation. Expand your networks and date from other places. And I wish I listened to her, but something I'm realizing with life and growth and everything is that you really are not in control of anything that's external. You can only control like whatever is within you. I can only make decisions for me. So, and hizi vitu hazina formula. Unaweza enda kwa ofisi kesho meet the love of your life, your soulmate, ama sijui mnaitanga mpoa wangu. Permanent wangu.
You never know where that love will ooze out.
You can literally meet from anywhere. So I wouldn't really say that they don't work out. I think all sorts of relationships can work out if you put in the required effort, the required time. But then again, we're on a place of work in Akamna, all these policies and all these rules and all these things that you have to follow for you guys to be okay within the workplace. So I'd say that it's very, very possible, but I do not trust that most people have the emotional maturity to be able to handle themselves within such settings. I guess that's why there's rules that govern such things and just to help us navigate through. Because it's easy to happen. You see, at the office, you're spending almost all your time. This is where you are from morning to jioni. This is where you do most of the things that create like bonding sessions. And this is in simple things like working on projects together. This is the person you work on something with every day minus maybe Saturday na Sunday. Hizo ma lunch kidogo mnaendanga lunch wanaitanga office wifi na office hubby. You know, you guys hang out so much and you really grow fond of each other really easily, even without it. It's not that the environment has been created for this purpose, but I think it's very inevitable for you to start feeling some type of way when you're around someone much more than even you are, let's say, with your spouse at home. You guys have much more bonding moments. Alafu unajua have maybe arguments about real life stuff. It's just about work stuff. So it's really easy to maintain relationships where serious things are not being discussed. And then it's much more fun. You guys are spending much more time with each other. So yeah, qua ground, it definitely is happening. And I think it's something that it's something that can fester in a really good way, but I just don't trust that most people have the awareness and the emotional intelligence to handle such relationships.
I don't know why. CJ, now you tell us whether this is actually permitted, because we actually have a HR policy in some workplaces about this, meaning there is something about it that even the HR or the workplace environment is concerned about when two people are actually even dating or married in the workplace. Tell us a bit about whether this is permitted, and if the event it happens, like Roberta is saying, qua ground, is if it will happen. What are some of the complexities that this sort of relationship would present for those people who are working in the same place? Actually,
in a lot of places, the policy would be that they shouldn't relate or date. And yeah, Roberta is right that, you know, you can't really control people's hearts, feelings and emotions at any one point. And also the stages that people are at, because I may be meeting you when I'm very vulnerable, I've gone through something, and maybe for that particular period, then I'm a bit needy and you're available. So all these things will happen, you know. But then when you begin to look at how that would be operationalized. In fact, some places will advise that if you are going to get into any serious relationship with the other person, then one of you needs to resign. And sometimes then people will...
So it's love or work under these tough economic times?
Yes, some people, in certain places they'll say, so we will not interfere with your love life, but it cannot work here. It's not acceptable, so one person has to let go. So sometimes you'll find either people will relate very quietly under the waters, or then they have to make the difficult choices. And of course you cannot do that at the onset, because then you're thinking, what if this relationship doesn't work and yet one of us has quit the job? So even just that policy alone creates a complexity around it, because which one of us is going to leave? Who will sacrifice for the other, and for what? So if I'm leaving the job, how sure am I that you're committed to me to the future? And am I able to do something else? So that alone just begins to make it very difficult. So even if I am attracted to somebody, I might feel like, no, I'm not going to do this because I've worked so hard to get to where I am at, or I'm just starting off my life and this is my first job or my second job and I want to build my career. So I can always date elsewhere. But in the cases where people try to date, the complexities are this. If I am working with Bobby, for example, so we've been here for a while, you know, and then we start relating, how free is she to work with and relate with other people within the same office? So if we are not in the same department, or if we're in the same department, we have the same task, but then there's some people that she will need to talk to a bit more based on her roles. How am I going to take that? Will I start feeling like you're spending too much time with so-and-so? I don't like how they talk to you. I don't like all of this. Because when I get there, I begin to interfere with work. She will be very cautious. And then even other people will be very cautious. When they come around and they see me, they'll be like, okay, Roberta's guy is here. So the freedom and the chemistry, I may not have said or done anything, but there's just that awkwardness.
You can't even compliment
that, people begin to have.
He's not going to lunch with the other guys.
Then when you have issues, and you're coming into the office, you most probably will carry that negative energy into that place. So the two of you are not talking, so everybody can see that. And if you break up, you know, you might be trying to each one pull people to their side against the other person. So you just look at how emotions are very fickle, and then if you bring that into the workplace, they most probably will interfere with the flow of work. Also, just the things that, like, so if I am dating this person and then I'm their team lead and they have not submitted their report, they've not done their work or something, how am I supposed to handle that? If I'm going to say, Safin, you were supposed to send me mail last night, but then Bobby was also supposed to send
last night.
and then now Bobby was to send hers too. So I come hard on you. How do I deal with her?
Yeah, true.
Will I tell her, where is your mail? And she's thinking, but I was with you last night.
Exactly. I mean,
Then she will be going out and like, I didn't like how you talked to me in the office. And I'll be saying, but that was work.
Yeah.
And no.
How do you separate?
No, yeah. So you look at some of those things, it just becomes very difficult for you to operate. And probably that's why, you know, because not everybody has the ability to handle that. So you'll just put a general rule and say, guys, nobody's relating over here. Because then we don't know who has emotional intelligence and who doesn't.
But then, in a world of, like the world we live in today, I don't know, but so many careers you'd find that you spent like almost 90%, just approximating 90% of your time at work. Let's just be honest. And assuming that's your life, that's the nature of how you spend your days, I mean, wouldn't it be better to have your significant other, I'm just being real, around so that at least during lunch, during breaks, I mean, you guys can be spending that quality time together, making it work both ways. I mean, you thrive career-wise, and also you see the complaint that people usually have, you don't have enough time. For me, you walk out very early in the morning before you wake up, you come back very late at night. How about this person is around you all day, Roberta?
But you see, that's something you can't really control. Because most people are not even in the same field, or they're not in this working in the same careers and stuff. So you can't really expect your partner to be there around you all the time. And then also, this is why I normally tell people, jichunguze we mwenyewe kwa mwenyewe, understand what kind of lover you are, what kind of person you are, what kind of relationships you like to have. Ask yourself, am I a monogamous person? Like, at my core, is this who I really am? Do I have space for polygamy? Do I like multiple people at the same time? Or am I a one person? Hizo vitu zote ni very essential because they help you carve out the kind of exclusivity you need. You're able to just be open and say, this is what I require, this is what I need. And the more you keep working on yourself, communication comes much more easier, because if you can accept who you are and what you are, it's so much easier for you to communicate even to the next person. Hey babe, leo kuna dem kwa ofisi na enyewe ukweli ni she's, you know, 1, 2, 3 and we've been hanging out. I'm not saying I like her, but like, you know, you can have...
You're lying.
You can have...
No, Roberta, you are lying.
Listen,
you are lying. How do you have that conversation?
That's why we need to make it normal. You see, mtu akisema, unaona kama hiyo sentence nimesema, unaona kama hiyo sentence nimesema, inakaa so far-fetched, ama inakaa so crazy, like how? You know why? Like, because we've normalized iyo kunyamaza na kuficha vitu, so it looks awkward. It looks like it's an awkward conversation to have, like, you know, there's no need, you can tell her, and then it creates another issue. But then, at the very core of your relationship, there has to be a friendship going on. It's not these conversations are not supposed to be difficult for you to have with someone that you're intimate with every day. Because on a friendship level, I'm sure, let's say if me and CJ were relating, if you and I are friends, chances are that you probably know about it, like I would have told you. And if the other way, like, tungekuwa tunajua, you know. But then, if it becomes now more serious, and now CJ is now serious officially, my man, it becomes difficult for me to go tell him about you. Why? Because niko na hizo reservations, you know, I'm not sure.
There's a lot to lose in that.
Yeah, you know, it's not, but if he really is my friend, if we started off being friends and having these conversations at a very basic level, jealousy is very normal, insecurities are very normal, feeling some type of way is very normal. That's why we need to normalize it so that we can handle these things together. We need to talk about it. I know, it seems, and Shazmin used to say this all the time, and mostly when I used to listen to her, I used to be like, oh damn, the things she says, it's like they exist in some utopia where everyone is perfect and everyone is amazing at communication, and it looks like an idea that is like hey, that's too good to be true. But then I started cultivating the same kind of relationships within myself. You see what open communication does? It gives you even a chance to make a decision. Because then if it's open, I can say, mi siezi date mse mwenye ana like de mwingine kwa ofisi. Ama, okay, then I need to be better at communicating.
But would
I need
you?
to be better at listening.
Would you date somebody who...
I have done it before, or somebody who likes someone...
at work.
At work. I think that...
And they tell you about it.
Okay, I have never been told about it. So I think...
Would you? That's why I've used the word would you.
If I was told about it, I think in that moment, I would have to be able to... Everything that I preach, everything that I talk, I would have to put it into practice. Because then... And I know it's difficult. I know it's difficult to apply because these things seem... easier said than done, but there's nothing easier said than done. If you really commit and you just say, me, this is squeezy, discrediting anything. I don't say, that's not for me, I can't do that, because you can never know. What you say can never be me, but you can never know. Tomorrow it can be you, and you can be in that situation, and you will have to make it work and make proper decisions. So I just think that if there's better communication at a very basic level, friendship, whatever it is, of course, maybe before piani communicate, I weigh the pros and cons. I already think about it. Si ati tu naenda kusema ndo ni hatu msi mwingine. I have to really think about it and understand how I'm going to pass my communication. And all these things are very necessary and important. So my point is, you can't really know how you'll be when you're in that situation, but in preparation, just keep working on yourself so that ukiwa kwa hiyo situation, whether it's your lover doing that to you, ama it's you who's met a really handsome guy in the office and you guys are spending much more time and you feel you'll be at a better space to be able to navigate it instead of maybe cheating or leaving your partner out of the loop or having to put things chini ya maji because you're scared ati I'll lose him, ataniacha. But then you also know the boundaries you have within your relationships. Why would you go forward and do things that...
I hear you. And I've also really followed your line of thought. Yeah. But I'm here looking at the practical side of it.
Vitu kwa ground.
Vitu kwa ground. So there's this culture ya kuwa na unasikia like it has been normalized, watu wanaitana babe, honey, darling, office husband. This is my office girlfriend. Like there is another legit girlfriend, but this one ni wa ofisi. Do you carry these conversations home, and would they be welcomed? I mean, the way she's describing this open relationship and open space where the two people can discuss these things openly, is it something that would really go well from where you sit?
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that most people can have open conversations. Yet, it would be the ideal. It would really eliminate a lot of heartaches and pain eventually, because most of the things that hurt us are things that we did not know. So if we are able to deal with them and handle them, or even think that they are possible, then we'd fortify ourselves for them when they come. So the aspect of preparation would come in. But because we have not been built to have those conversations, really, it becomes very difficult to start them when you're already in a committed relationship, because it will look like you are either not interested in the person you are with, or you were cheating, or you were polygamous, just all that. You know, mostly when you're in a relationship, you extrapolate the thoughts. If somebody says, man, I love the way Roberta thinks and does this, the next thing they're thinking is, what interest do you have in Roberta? They'll not just hear what you're saying, they'll take it to the farthest and start thinking like, like you're now interested and probably you're building something else around that. So because of the fear of repercussions, people will not talk about it. And I think it is worse even with ladies, because again, in the African culture, the woman was supposed to be shy, to be coy, to be passive.
Underline was.
Yeah, and when she's approached, she wasn't supposed to say yes the first day, because that would look like she's too out there.
She's supposed to play hard to get.
Play hard to get, like, you know, she's got some virtues or something. So you're moving from that kind of a woman to a woman now who needs to say that she has seen somebody in the office that she likes. That's a bit too much, swinging from one side of the pendulum to the other, because we're still caught up in the hang-ups of the cultural setups that we have come from. So it is not very easy to do that. But then conversations, it's just like going to the gym. You know, you have the first difficult conversation, you are scared about having that conversation, you come in, you don't say too much, you bring it out, and then you go back and you're scared of what will happen. You probably even feel bad about it. It may not even be about the office situation. It may just be like, I'm not comfortable with what you did. And that may not be something that you're comfortable doing yourself. And you speak it out and you're so scared and you've challenged yourself. Then you come back the next time and keep on doing it until you get to the place where you're very comfortable talking about those difficult things. So it's not easy on the ground, but people learn them. Those are skills that you can acquire to talk about the difficult things.
Yeah. The question I asked earlier about the world the way it is nowadays, I want us to go back there. People who prefer, you know, having this person around, because there is this whole challenge of finding even time to date, finding even time to find these right people, this Mr. Right, Miss Right, where are they? Do you even have time to meet them, to interact, to socialize with them? So you end up finding people who are working, they are of age to maybe even settle down and all that, but there is no time to really meet these people. You're always constantly at the workplace. Why not open room for, you know, networking within that space? I mean, and spending time with this person, I mean, at work, so that at least you can have enough time for your relationship while you thrive in your career. CJ, what do you think about that kind of an arrangement?
I thought it was going to be Roberta, but...
I mean, anyone can go first, but yeah, I mean, you have time for work, time for relationship. You balance it out and it all works.
But, well, it could work. It could work. But I think, again, if you're going to fall in love with somebody in the office, talk to your HR. I think you need to. Because situations are very different and they're very specific. Talk to them. And if they're really genuine about your well-being, they may guide you on how to go about it. Because, again, sometimes, you see, the policy may say that one of you has to leave. But then I may be having two of my best team members, and they've not shown
make it work.
they've not shown me any reason why the teams keep guiding. When it gets to the place where it becomes complex,
but it
then
has to be a very serious.
Yes, because again,
you need to escalate it,
you know,
to the HR level. Because I'm trying to imagine if you go to Sunday.
you can't be introducing everybody to your parents.
Exactly.
This week there's this one. I'm serious. Then next week, no, the other one was not. This one now is the real one. It's got to be, and that's why you see again. I say just the rules around the office should make it very difficult for you to even get into this, because it means one of you needs to sacrifice. And so the question is, who would and for what? So if you have decided that you're still going to go through this, then it must be something serious. It must be something that you're feeling like either one of us can sacrifice for, because this is something higher. And then it makes it easier then to go to the HR. But if you can't introduce flings, and you can't be having flings with everybody around the office as well. So I think it is possible sometimes, because see, even when we lead people in the offices, we're leading human beings. And it is possible. There are people who have met their spouses at work, and it has worked for them. There are people who keep working with their spouses. It has worked for them. But they really have to have built themselves emotionally to separate issues. The whole thing comes to the two of them. Can they separate the issues at work and the issues at home? Because it is not even easy to run a business with your spouse.
But I'm trying to imagine, what if maybe you guys had a conversation in the morning, there was something you wanted, a kahepa. You know the way people... So you pick up that conversation and you're like, okay, sawa, tumekutana tena. What did I say in the morning? I mean, those complexities. But I also want to hear your thoughts, Roberta. I mean, wouldn't you be comfortable to have your man around? At least you spend time together. They are there. And then pia una feel at least your security. You know, I mean, unamuona what he's doing.
Security up until asimame aende kwa desk ya Masi. Kusimama hapo kumwongelesha for 5 hours. Now you keep... Honey, what are they talking about? Like,
what are they
been talking for so
and
long.
And you're probably not talking at home.
Exactly. Amekuhepa hivyo venye unasema anaja, you know. So it's that you really have, Kenya tu CJ amesema, you really have to work on self, because the only way you'll be able to separate, and even in businesses where you see run by families like a wife and a husband, you can always tell they're not talking to each other. they're angry at each other, the vibes are weird because it always manifests, even in the meetings. Atakuja mmoja anawashautia unashanga.
What's happening?
Bro, mi hata sijakuwa na wewe, but umekuja na mood. You can always tell. That's why it needs a lot of emotional maturity. You really need to work on self to be able to hold yourself and say, this is not the right place to have this conversation. I need to be much more patient. I need to be much more graceful. We can wait till lunchtime. And even the other person who's in the relationship, hata hizo kama hiyo example umepeana ati alikuhepa kwa nyumba. You see, such things ndo zinaonesha immaturity. Ama, you know, because someone can easily let you know, yo, we're going to the office right now. Can we just, let's please talk about, let's breathe. Don't feel, your reassurance is important. Please don't feel like I'm ignoring you. Don't feel like if I talk to Nani, it's because of the fight we had in the morning. Please don't take anything personally. It's you I really love. It's you I want to be with. We're going to sort it out at 5 p.m. Sawa, wazi. It makes it so easy for you. No, it makes it so much easier for you even to go through the day. Hizo insecurities na nini zinaisha because mse wako akisha kupea reassurance na kwambie hata nikienda kwa desk ya Safin, it doesn't mean anything. It's not at because sometimes you can assume maybe they're talking behind my back, maybe an update juu ya, because you'll find even within the workplace, maybe before you came, yeye na Safin walikuwa friends, alafu sa ananidate mimi. So you see, all easy feelings of jealousy, nini, they exist. But people need to realize that once you're in a relationship with someone, especially an exclusive or monogamous relationship, you have to have really good communication. You have to give reassurance. The other person's emotions become your responsibility as well. You can't say, chana na yeye and tulikuwa tumefuriana. You can't do that. You have to take responsibility and understand how your romantic and personal relationship impacts the workplace. And just to repeat what CJ said, you really have to work on yourself, because if you within yourself, you can love yourself and be confident enough to tell yourself, I don't want to ruin this job. Sitaki kuspoil. There's no need. It's not worth it. I have to be able to control myself within the relationship so that it doesn't manifest into work. If you're able to do that for yourself and also your partner is able to do that, the relationship will work. I mean, also my opinion is that any relationship can work. Any relationship can come back from anything except abuse, except especially physical abuse. But if you guys want to put in the work intentionally, it can work. If you want to date in the office, it can work. People have done it. People have met within the workspaces because you're really spending a significant amount of time around these people. So it can definitely work, but you have to fika iyo level ya kukua able kusema, let's just separate. Easy domeza zifai kuonekana. People don't need to be in a meeting feeling like there's passive aggression at you didn't send the mail. Skutuma kwa there's no need for all the, like, just be professional. You can really, it can work, but you have to work on yourself.
It's easier said than done.
That's how it
kujamisha, mtu alikasirisha tu kabisa, alafu anakuambia vitu kwa ofisi and then unakuwa too nice, professional. I mean, it's easier said.
You know, I say this
done.
because I've done it. And I had to learn these lessons. It's not that I was a pro.
So it was a process.
It's not, it's definitely a process, and you learn. And I've dated someone that I worked with before. And of course, at first, ni rosy, nobody else knows what's happening. It's fun, it's exciting.
When it's stolen.
And then now the real issues come in. You know, you start to realize, akukuongelesha weekend yote, lakini kuja Monday anashinda kwa desk ya Safin. Those things, they're very, very real. But you see, if you guys... something that helped the relationship is that we had a really strong foundation of friendship going on. Us guys were really, really good friends, still are. We talked about everything. We were able to tell each other everything. So even me telling him something like, I didn't appreciate how we're fighting, you're ignoring me, but you're talking to Safin. He wouldn't take it as but it's work, I have no. He used to give me the reassurance.
You know, coming from.
Yeah, I understand you, I hear you. Thank you for letting me know, And this is someone who, I'm so sorry for airing them out, but this is someone who had a very avoidant attachment style. Like, siakuwa mtu wa kuongea. Kumanisha, when people really want something to work, they will do it. Because I saw him grow in his own emotional struggles. And even myself, because I also had shortcomings, even izo my jealousy, my spars and all that, I also had to really work on myself to the point that we got where We can talk about anything. We can tell each other anything. We can speak. I was getting the reassurance I needed. And right now, it's been so many years later, but our friendship, I mean, of course, the relationship ended, but our friendship has really, really thrived. We're still very good communicators with each other, still very close friends. So this is something that, first, of course, you need the experience, because you can't just, if you don't have the emotional intelligence to handle it, you learn on the job, you learn there. But Sasa, you see, the next time it happens to me, I know better. I know, no, I don't need to do that. There's no need for me to date someone in the office. I already know because I've already done it.
Yeah.
But just coming from someone who's been there already, it can definitely work, but you have to put in the work. Hakuna relationship yoyote ati you just fall into it and then it magic. You have to work.
What are you willing to give to
Yes.
make it work? If I flip the coin a little bit, CJ, what if it doesn't work? How now do you move on in the office with your ex? You guys, I mean, you guys, we have people who are in an environment with you have your ex-girlfriend around or your ex-boyfriend around. How do you even navigate? And the new one is also, there's potential.
Tena new one. Kwani unadate kila mtu?
I mean, it's genuine. You can fall in love anytime. So kuna mtu hapo pia na kuna kitu unataka kujaribu hapo, but then there is some ex-girlfriend somewhere, ex-boyfriend. How do you even navigate in this space?
You see, the X factor,
pia inatembea.
the X factor, if I may call it that, could be for various reasons. It could be that we dated in the office and broke up, and it could also be that somebody I dated before joins us.
Oh, yeah.
That would also complicate things, you know. So it comes back again to how do I carry myself? And then these are now conversations you have to have. Whether it is somebody who joined you, an ex who joined you at the workplace, because there'll always be those sparks somewhere. And, you know, even when exes have gone their different ways, sometimes they keep on checking, you know, the side mirror to see how is he treating the next person.
Actually happens.
See, because, yeah, they want to know whether they're doing well and whether they're treating the other person better and stuff. Because, you know, being left or even leaving, every breakup is very difficult. It's very difficult because there's a part of you that questions yourself. Is it something I did? Was I good enough? Was I not good enough? Or stuff like that. Were my demands too much? Was I too needy? And all that. So when you see this person now with somebody else, you begin to ask yourself, they couldn't do that with me. They weren't there. So you became the lesson.
You see them do the exact same things you've been asking them to do.
He's making her coffee and he's like,
this is what I've been telling you to do.
So
you're doing them with other
if this ex joins you at work, they still bring that complexity.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is that you actually have to talk about it. Even when you have dated and broken up, or you were married and then you have separated, but you still have to work together, it's a conversation you need to have. Just the same way people do about children, when they have children and they talk about co-parenting. So we've got to talk about, well, we've got this kid called work. This is a baby. None of us is willing to lose their place at work. We need to conduct ourselves in a particular way. There's a possibility that I may meet somebody else. And there's a possibility you may meet somebody else. And you are free. You're free to move on with your life. We shouldn't interfere with what we have built because we've both worked hard to get to this place. We've got responsibilities. It's the conversations that people need to have. I think sometimes things get complicated because we want to sweep them under the carpet and just hope that they will disappear. There are people, there's what Bobby said in the beginning, that you've got to really know yourself. There are people who want to have closure. They want to understand everything, and they want to know, so where are we at? What does this mean? How will it be? Then there's some people who just wish the wind will blow everything away. We'll wake up tomorrow and we're all fine.
The problem will be gone.
As long as Bobby wants to know, if I'm not talking, we will not be fine. I have to bring myself to the place of, okay, let's have this conversation. It may not be the easiest one, but let's have this conversation. So would you still want to work here? Then we agree. We both want the job. then what does this mean for us now that we are separated? So we will keep the friendship, or we will actually just try to make everything look normal out here as we work out our emotions elsewhere. Are we so
you
broken?
have to have this difficult conversation.
You have to have it.
If you once you've decided that that relationship is no longer working,
Yes.
so you have a sit down and discuss the way forward on how you're going to continue as
Yes.
colleagues,
Yes.
how things are going to be like.
You have to. Otherwise you'll be interfering with people. So you see, if I'm out of this person's life and then somebody else asks them out for coffee, just normal coffee, I shouldn't be texting them and like, you see, you didn't mean anything. I didn't mean anything to you because you're already going out and stuff. I'm supposed to know they are now free.
Yes.
And what they do with their lives is now none of my business. So we've got to have those conversations and say, this is how we will handle ourselves. You may feel jealous, I may feel jealous, but that's okay. But this is what we're going to do. Yeah.
One thing I'm getting from this is that you really need some level of maturity.
You do.
You really need
Not some.
a lot of the relationship to work.
Yeah.
Let's sample some of the feedback that you've gotten from our viewers. 22422 is our SMS platform. The hashtag is Daybreak. This is what you're saying on SMS this morning as we talk about the office, workplace relationships. And it is out of my workplace that being a priest, that I found my beautiful wife also a priest. 3 years down the line, we are still together and blessed with the twin girls. Hey, that's sweet, but I'm a priest word. Yeah? Okay, yes, of course, as long as you love each other, however, that your conversation may mislead many. Oh, okay, that's what it thinks. No, mtashinda mkichungana siku nzima. Work relationships broadly depend on the maturity of both of you. For some of it can work perfectly, but others won't. But it calls for big hearts and also maturity. Yeah. Exactly. That's what we are talking about. Evans, you're saying office relationships works without no problem.
Is that ever sure?
Okay. Deno from Zimmerman, Nairobi. No, not all relationships are healthy, but 90% are healthy. Yeah, I can marry the person I work with since that relationship can be firm because you know each other well. And by the way, you spend so much time with your colleagues, you know them better. Love knows no bounds. It's possible to date your coworker, but it requires a lot of professionalism, communication, and emotional maturity at the workplace. It can work. Okay, so the line that you underscore there is it can work. Maturity is needed. Maturity, maturity, maturity. It cannot just work like that.
I love how all the comments are being so positive. Like for the first time, everyone is on the same page with us.
Like it can work.
Like, yeah, meaning wase wanaifanya na ina work. And I like that most comments were saying maturity, professionalism, big hearts, emotional growth. Each of it is certainly very necessary. And this is not just for office relationships. Any sort of relationship that you feel like is essential and you need to work. Even for us here, we need to be able to talk to each other. We need to be able to say, hey, Bobby, I didn't like how you spoke to me. It might be very difficult and scary, but you see, that's the genesis of fixing the relationship. If someone ever comes to you because they need to talk about something, it's not because they hate you or because they don't want the relationship. It's actually the opposite. It means they're trying to fix it so that it can work. So it's a positive reinforcement. So I love that all the comments were talking about maturity, meaning they're doing it and they're testing it and it's working. So that's a good thing. I love to see people in love. I love to see people making relationships work. It's such a beautiful thing. And just the fact that people are realizing that emotional maturity is very necessary, it makes me so happy because that's what I'm always advocating for. Like, work on yourself to the point that you love yourself so much that you're able to extend this love and it's able to manifest in all ways. And yeah, qua office, you spend so much time together. And then you can be more real with each other, especially if you're forming the friendship, because in the initial stages, you're not thinking, I'll marry this person. It's just, we see each other every day, we're working. So you're able to be a bit more genuine without hiding things. And the more you're friends, the more you get to know each other. So me, I'd say, it works. Just like everyone else said, it works, but you have to be very intentional.
So let's go back to this brother who was asking for advice.
Yeah.
Do they make that move, CJ?
Well, so there's
they've been colleagues on Diani, and I feel like I want to make a move, but
there's a flip side to what somebody said. 90% of them can work, and you see, I was telling Bobby that if somebody reads her blogs, they will see a very different person from who she is actually in person.
Yeah.
And probably there's that aspect also in the office. We show up in the office. Who are we at home? Because some of the people who are very...
in the office we are at our best.
Yeah, we're being perfect.
So I may fall in love with your office personality, but then you're a very different person at home. So I may feel like I love her energy, her brain, and that. Then you get home and you coil back, and you're not pretending. This is now you in your place of reclining, and then I'm thinking, but this is not what I fell for. This I made an order online, and the delivery is
totally different.
So the thing is that it's got to work then beyond the office.
Yes.
Because some people have personalities, dual personalities, and they're not trying to fake it. There are people who out here are very extroverted. They go back home, they're very introverted. They just want to coil into silence and quietness, and you may misunderstand them over there. There's also the aspect of, so we may be colleagues, and we're working at the same job group level, then you go home, we're getting home, then now I'm the head of this house. So you're wondering, but you met me at work. We're earning nearly the same. We have nearly the same team roles. How come when we come home, I'm supposed to be under you? So those are also difficult.
To consider.
Because of how you have primarily related. And then how do you switch it now to the place where when you're here, you're my wife. So you do what I want. Or even for the man, where when we were just in the office, I would go out with people. This weekend, we're out, Nakuru, wherever, and it was not a problem. Now I come in here, you start asking me why I'm out at 7, and I'm thinking, but I was always like this and you knew it. So the home dynamics are also a bit different.
So take it beyond the workplace.
You've got to take it
beyond. Get to know this person in their character outside
the
of
workplace.
Work, so that you can get to see whether that is still what you want. Thank you so much. And
I didn't answer concerning the guy. He should try. He should give it a try.
He should,
Yes, he should. He should.
Oh, okay, coming from CJ. Coming from CJ, that's good. All right, so go right ahead. You make that move. It can work, but you need to be very strong, professional, and mature for this to work.
And
Separate.
She needs to be as well.
And she needs to be, and she needs to be worth it as well. All right, so that's how we wrap it up this Tuesday. It's a conversation we never conclude. We just pick it up next week and next another topic, interesting, teaching you things that you need to learn about relationships. That is what we do here. Thank you so much for creating time. Unfortunately, QT couldn't join us today, but next week, hopefully, she will be with us. I was with Roberta and CJ making this happen. Thank you for creating time. Have a lovely day ahead and enjoy the rest of your viewing.